The meeting is now being recorded. That was close. That was close. I almost forgot to push record. But the meeting is now being recorded, and hello to everybody that's joining us. If this happens to be your first one, then hi, I'm Brian from Headstrong. And it is lovely to speak to you and lovely to have you here. As I say at the beginning of all of these sessions, I'm not going to do a big introduction because that's already been done and it would take up loads of time, because I mean, I've got such an amazing and fascinating and quite frankly inspiring story. No, I don't actually. But I mean, if you want to hear who I am and why it is that I'm here, then you can actually look back onto the very first session that we did last Monday, and all of the sessions, including the one that we are just starting just now, which will be up on the Scottish Aquaculture Innovation Centre YouTube later on today. And all the other 4 are all already up there, so they're all on the YouTube channel if you want to watch them and tune in, whether you want just a wee recap on something or whether maybe you didn't hear them the first time and you want to catch up. So we are in number 5. We're nearly there. I've got my cup of tea as always. It's probably too hot to drink, but I'm going to try it anyway. Yeah, it's just about there. And what I'm going to do for the next half hour is take you through yet another concept of the mind. We've been through and we've talked about a lot of things since we began. In the first session, we talked about how thoughts cause feelings and how feelings don't just happen to us, that they need a meaning. There's a meaning attached to our outside world inside our heads. And in the second session, we talked a little bit about how that all happens. Like, how does that actually work? How does the bubble, as I call it, how does the bubble get formed, and how it changes things as we're going through our lives and changes how we see things by ignoring things, by bending certain bits of reality to make it fit our own belief systems, and then by making assumptions and generalizations. In session 3, we talked about how all that was made through memories and how everything like stacks up and how our lifetimes are just a lifetime of experiences that all become us. And then in the last session on Monday, we spoke about motivation and how all of that comes together to then create these feelings, these values inside us that we want and we chase and we pursue, and that also drive us from the back. These things we call values, like security, connection, respect, trust, happiness, love, perhaps. All of these different things that drive us to be the people that we are. Now, what all of that does, right, is that all of that comes together to make you. All of these different building blocks from all of your experiences that then create your values, and how your values then fit into this thought process that attaches meanings to things. You know, if you're, as we said the other day, you know, if you're somebody who really values security, I'm going to guess that actually some of you maybe are, but not maybe as stringent. Otherwise, you'd be working for an insurance company for 20 years and doing the same thing every day. But if you're somebody who massively values security, if I was to say, you know, I've got a job opportunity for you, now I can't guarantee how long it's going to go on for. At the moment, the project might be 6 months, but then it might be 6 years. We're not too sure how funding's going to go. So this might be your life, by the way. I don't know. Is this the life of an aquaculture scientist? Is this how it goes? Is funding? It might be there. It might not be there. Why don't we see what happens? And it might all disappear tomorrow. But while it's here, let's enjoy it while it happens. For somebody with a big, high need for security, that's a horrible place to be. That's like, no, they attribute massive pain to that. But then if I was to say something like, well, but if you were to do this work, look at the amazing things that you could create, the difference that you could make, or the incredible discoveries that could be made in your certain field and your passion, whatever that might be. And you might be like, oh, and then what happens in your head is you weigh this pleasure and pain up, and this is where your feelings come from and how we behave. But as all that comes together, as I was saying, what it does is that it creates patterns. And one of the things that I hear from people about mental health all the time is that people have a million problems. This might be you. You might be sitting there at the moment going, that's totally me. That is totally me. I have 1 million problems, and honestly, they just keep on coming, more and more problems. I'm like, under all my problems, oh my God, what am I going to do under all these problems? I'm going to tell you right now, that's actually not how your brain works at all. Your brain doesn't have the capacity to have lots of problems. Because actually, one of the things that I'm going to say to you is your brain is actually supremely lazy. Now, we've hinted at this as we've come through the previous 4 lessons, but I've never really explicitly talked about what I actually mean by a lazy brain. What is a lazy brain, after all? Now, a lazy brain is basically what it sounds like. This thing in here, this machine in here that controls all your thoughts. Now, to get into it, and I know that some of you are going to be far, far better biologists, and maybe actually you've studied neurology or something like that. I don't know. I don't know what you know. But ultimately, it does sound super cheesy, but it is true to say that actually you have neurons all over your body. So albeit that you're a thinking machine, it's still your brain, though, that controls most of it. It's like your central hub. It's like your main center, like your HQ is in here. Yes, you have enough neurons in your gut to create a cat's brain, apparently, roundabout, somewhere about there. You could create a cat's brain out of the neurons that are actually in your gut. And they're important. And all of your neurons are massively important. But HQ still controls them. And HQ will decide where they go and can overrule certain things when it needs to as well. You might have a mad urge, for instance, to punch one of your colleagues. I don't know why I chose that as an option as my example, but you might have a mad urge to punch one of your colleagues, but HQ will go, not a sensible idea, Jemima. And I don't know who Jemima is. If any of you are called Jemima, I now feel as if I have to look. I don't know if any of you are called Jemima. If you are, anyway, you get my point. So HQ in here is massively important, and it doesn't have the capacity to have a million problems. It is hugely energy hungry, massively energy hungry. Around about 70% of the water that you intake in a day is used by your brain just to keep itself moving and keep itself squidgy and to keep all those thoughts going and to try and work out what's going to happen next in your favorite box set and to worry about what's going to happen tomorrow and to think about what you're going to have for dinner. This thing here is just massively energy hungry. Now, therefore, that makes it lazy. Now, some people, especially quite often, I must admit, more scientific people say, well, no, my brain's not lazy. My brain's efficient. It's actually massively inefficient, I must admit. In terms of the way that it uses itself, it's one of the most inefficient styles of, or inefficient machines that we know of. And why? Well, like I did to you very early on, if I ask you to imagine eating lemon right now, inefficiently, it will start to make your mouth water. If the lemon doesn't work, as I always say, you can use pineapple, mango, chilies. Think about your favorite dinner. Think about having a big slice of pizza just now, or your favorite coffee, or think about sitting in a beer garden, having a nice beer. Any of those things, and you find your mouth will water, and you'll get certain emotions and feelings. That's not efficient. That's just trigger and response. That's what that is. Also, we could argue that an efficient machine, if our brains were efficient, that we would get to a point at some point very early in our lives where we would look at ourselves in the mirror one day and we'd go, my current dietary intake seems to be exceeding my output of calories and energy. Therefore, what it seems as if at the moment is that I am putting on weight. Therefore, my efficient brain is going to say, stop eating Jaffa cakes. And I'm going to stop eating Jaffa cakes. And then I'm going to go back to an optimum size, whatever that might mean. But that's not what we do. We sit there munching into Jaffa cakes and eating full packets of Maltesers. And we sit there, I mean, I'm not suggesting that this happened, watching a really poor substitute for Eurovision, huge fan, love it. On Saturday night, drink a full bottle of wine while trying to make it entertaining, kind of enjoying it, but kind of not, while also realizing that when you put your hand in your bag of Whisper Bites, that actually you've eaten all of them too. That's not efficient. That's a massive waste of time. But why do I do it? And why do you do it? Why do you follow all these? And why do I say that it's a lazy brain? Because your lazy brain wants to do the least amount of thinking that it can. To be efficient actually requires quite a lot of thinking. And we've talked about efficiency when we talk about values, for instance. An efficient mind would look at its values and go, this is what I want from life. I'm going to go and get it. But that takes hard work. And therefore, what's easier? Well, what's easier is just to live a life of patterns. And that's actually what we do. the wee thing I put onto the Holden slide, which I actually forgot to put on the Holden slide and put the last one up by mistake earlier on, it was, are you normal? Now, normal is got massive inverted commas. And I don't mean, are you normal in terms of what society believes is normal? What I'm going to tell you is that for you, whoever you are, you have a life that is defined by patterns. And these patterns are what I call your normal. What is your normal? And I'm going to bet that at the moment, many of you have gone, what is normal these days? You know, nothing's normal at the moment. And you'd be entirely and completely right. One of the challenges that's been happening for a lot of people during this lockdown period, day 60 today, apparently, and day 60 of lockdown, that what's been happening is that their normal is all gone. Normal has changed. Normal has disappeared. Everything that we considered normal is gone. And even though at the moment the supermarkets are starting to stock up,